One dick, got 2 BBLs off his third leg. That bitch got rich off of 1 dick. 2 kids, got me that new Benz. If I'm Stewie, ho, you stupid. How you suck 100 dicks and still ain't make Cupid? I love the way you love me. It's only ugly bitches commenting I'm ugly. Is you blind, ho? I be Stewie for that money. My first song bump and your coochie hella bumpy. You been one, took too many dicks, now you funky. Why would I look for a new nigga with my good eye? 1 dick, bitch. So you know this cat got 9 lives. Look back, why he eat my ass to get my lick back? Why would I put too many miles on this Maybach? For him, sis, let's be for real, that's not him, sis.
Let's get to it.
This ain't hoeing, this is MILF music. DSLs, yeah, I got it smashed to BBS. Why would I listen to a single bitch that's outside? I'm inside. Pretty little bitch, I'm not cockeyed, my bills paid. I ain't had to work for 1 day. He playing with my pussy. This ain't 2K. I got a big head. And yes, daddy, I get big head. 1 dick, got 2 BBLs off his third leg. That bitch got rich off of 1 dick. 2 kids, got me that new Benz. If I'm Stewie, ho, you stupid. How you suck 100 dicks and still ain't make Cupid? I love the way you love me. It's only ugly bitches commenting I'm ugly. Is you blind, ho?
I'm good on that part. It gets a little bit too real for me. It's a little bit too real. Oh shit.
You did the opposite, actually.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah, I white knighted him. In fact, you were fucking mad at me for it.
Live your life. I know exactly what I want. You know what I want? I want the kind of girl that's at that Halloween store I just went to.
Look at all these fucking losers. Look at, well, not cute. Look at
Hate
this
each other,
loser.
but you know what? We don't badmouth each other.
You're a loser.
I can't fix stupid nor immaturity. That's common sense. I know.
Oh my god, I have a wrench in LD's chat.
So we got together with a bunch of people from my old community that fucking hate me, have doxed me, have tried to ruin my life, have called my job, my apartment, shit like that. And she got in with them. So now she's on there getting fueled by these people to just slander me and, defame me and put me down. And it's just real fucking immature. Like you're saying, Kita, why did you get her pregnant? No one's fucking pregnant. Ooh. Let me not hit the gas. Let me plug my phone in.
Ski Mask always wins.
I need a drink. I gotta stop the gas. I'm gonna go get a drink real quick. So.
What's up with this? What's up with the facial hair? What's up with the facial hair? What in the hell is going on? No. I wouldn't like if somebody rogue modded in my chat. I'm not gonna do it in his. What up, Mean Muggin?
Show her.
Damn.
Say,
it's so
she even
scuffed.
invited me to come. Sir, if things turned
Look
out
at all
well.
these people. Janny is your biggest basher. I'm not gonna watch this scuffed ass shit. Bro, type of fucking stupid ass BS is he on? Oh. So I want to talk about Jessica Kent. So this isn't, how many of y'all are familiar with Jessica Kent? How many of you guys are familiar with Jessica Kent? Okay, so Jessica Kent is a recovery/jail YouTuber, okay? And I want to say maybe like 6 months ago, all sorts of fucking drama popped up about her. What the fuck? This Blueface drama? I want to listen to that. We're going to talk about... So, Jessica Kent had all sorts of drama going on. she was a recovery jail like YouTuber. She also was in a relationship with a guy named Reese, who is also in recovery and a jail YouTuber or a recovery YouTuber. I don't think he went to jail. But she got into a beef with this girl right here, Mindy. And they've been going back and forth. And people are trying to cancel her. So now there's all sorts of drama going on, and she put out this big docuseries the other day, and I listened to it, and she's claiming that Reese was abusive to her. These people, like, I don't like that people we'll watch Mindy's video real quick.
Let's bring it all the way back, Jessica Kent, and show these people what defamation of character really is. What Tracy did was just share the truth about you. You came on here and told people not to buy from my businesses, you fucking idiot bitch. So let's show people what defamation of character really is. And I am...
What up, Mojo Jojo?
I thought she was cool. I thought she was my friend. She is not 6 months sober. She's not 6 days sober. And she came into my house under the umbrella of I need to escape an abusive relationship. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't want to doubt that. I saw certain things that definitely made me think that she was telling the truth on that front. But she got high in my house, and I had to ask her to leave after being really nasty to me and accused.
So that really did happen. Mindy actually did relapse in her house, and then after that is when all this craziness started.
Someone that I had in my home watching my babies, accused them of having party favors and smoking meth to babysit my kids. Like,
because they were smoking meth while they were babysitting your kids, bitch.
Why am I telling you this? Because she has people sending her money for her skincare, her dog tags, her clothing, all of her stuff on this link tree. She has people buying her products, and that is directly going to support her current habit. Not only do I have to mourn the loss of a friendship, but I have to mourn the loss of two. I had to get
defamation of
people out of my
character.
house. So yeah, you can pause to read. Like, no, you can't smoke crack in my fucking house, dude. No.
Okay, so I mean, and we've seen these messages. These were put out, right? Torch, I need a torch. You want me to bring a whole crack starter kit? Yes, please, a whole starter kit. You're nuts, girl. I know. Yeah, what am I getting out of this? My brilliant personality and some money and a little quality time with me before you never see me again.
Fuck. Please keep in mind that I made sure she had an Uber, a flight home, and a hotel.
I sent this chat to show her how two-faced you are. I hope she calls soon. You probably did, but I'm not two-faced. I hate her. I ain't playing with you. trying to smoke, rock, F me and talk shit when she helped you more than anyone else. I'm not trying to F you. Are you crazy? She had every right to kick us both out. You stay. So this was the dude, right? You stay acting like you ain't wrong. Bitch, you got me effed up. I'm not wrong. I did nothing wrong. And trying to F you, you're out of your mind.
Hotel, so she wasn't stranded.
After she held my dog ransom until I signed an NDA.
To make it more messy, she went to my ex's.
You signed an NDA, but you're talking about it, so I don't really believe that. I believe that they're both lying, right? But I feel like Mindy's lies are a little bit more dangerous because she's literally just trying to have Jessica canceled. And I think that that's dangerous. Jessica supposedly just got out of a domestic violence relationship with her boyfriend, Reese, who was also a YouTuber, and it was very public.
House. Like, what? Her baby daddy's a really nice guy, and he has offered to put her into treatment. And I hope she takes it, but please don't send her money.
Please don't send her money.
Please don't send her money. And I thought Reese and I planned this whole thing. You failed to mention you planned this with my baby daddy.
That makes no sense. That makes no sense. So I feel like Mindy as well, like I feel like, first of all, the recovery community on TikTok and YouTube is extremely toxic. Extremely toxic. But I want to talk about it because there's a person called Discovering Nicole that I had liked. I liked her, you know, and she started doing this Jessica Kent content and she wouldn't shut the fuck up about Jessica to the point where I unsubbed from her. And then I went on her page yesterday and I looked at it, and it's funny because I was in the car with someone who's in recovery, and I'll show you guys. This really, really rubbed me the wrong way. And you guys can tell me how you feel about it. You know, I really didn't like this. So if you go to her community page, right? Now, obviously, it's filled with Jessica Kent stuff. But if you go right here, Patreon recovery meeting this Saturday, 7 p.m., $5 tier and up. You're making people pay for recovery? Like, what? Where they do that at? You're making people pay you for recovery? Like, I understand you want to do a private recovery meeting. That's one thing. But to make people pay to enter? And I don't want to hear anyone say, oh, well, they collect dues at NA. Yeah, those dues go to pay for coffee and rent for the meetings. They don't go into the person who's facilitating the meeting's pocket. That's bullshit to me. And I unsubbed from this person quite a while back. I think I just resubbed to her the other day. Did I? Did I wind up resubscribing? No, I didn't. But because her page was just like a fucking shit on Jessica fest. That's all it was. Her page was a fucking shit on Jessica fest, and I couldn't handle it anymore. And now to see that she's making people pay for recovery, it's just, it's tacky. It's gross. So, yeah, gross. So this is another video that somebody else made about Jessica Kent. I'm trying to listen to other people than Nicole and Mindy because I don't trust Nicole and Mindy.
All right, so today I just want to talk to you guys free form. I don't have any notes or anything like that, but I want to talk about a few things because I've received many messages about Jessica Kent releasing her part 1 of what she's calling a docuseries about the truth never dying, and she's, you know, telling everybody the truth with receipts, and she's got body cam footage, court documents, text messages. She's really just putting it all out there so that she can tell her subscribers how real and transparent she is. I watched the video and I have a couple of thoughts about it, and they're not all bad.
I also watched the video. It's like a 2-hour long video, and I watched it in its entirety because I was a big Jessica Kent fan for quite some time. I enjoyed her content. I liked the fact that there was somebody coming online and talking about recovery, but not only recovery, like, you know, her experience in jail and so on and so forth. And then when the whole Reese thing happened, I really didn't like the way she handled that, because at the end of the day, Reese is the father of her child. And I felt like she shat on him when she didn't need to. Then again, now seeing all the footage of how abusive Reese was, maybe I misjudged. Maybe I jumped to Reese's defense when I shouldn't have. But there's a lot of inconsistencies as far as how much time she spent in jail, what she was in jail for, is she a fucking CI, blah, 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 blah. There's just discrepancies, right? And I think that's what a lot of people have an issue with. That's good, Deodora.
I want to reiterate something that I said many times before. I have never said on my channel, Jessica Kent absolutely did not have any situations with DV or mistreatment. None of that is true. She is not, you know, she's making up these stories. I've never said that. What I have said is, number one, she's been caught in lies before, so my trust as a former viewer is broken.
Yes, and same. I take everything that Jessica says with a grain of salt because she's lied. So yes, I agree with you there. I don't know this person. This is the first video I'm watching this, so I want to get like another opinion on everything.
And number two,
I can
No,
only show.
it's not a martini glass. I don't know. It's it's a triangle inside of another triangle. It's some type of symbol.
A curiosity
Over a moth?
publicly about hearing from Reese, because as I've mentioned in other videos, not about Jessica, I am a curious person. And as a curious person who happens to also run a commentary channel, I think of, is there another side of this conversation that we could be hearing that we're just not hearing about yet?
I mean, you're kind of right, Lindsay's dignity. You're not wrong.
Because
it'll be less
when it's
actual
a he
worker.
said, she said, or he said, or whatever, if there are two adults going back and forth and both people are talking about what their experience was, then we have both sides to listen to and dissect and come up with our own conclusions. When we're only hearing it from one person, a lot of people, even if you don't consider yourself a curious person, most adults are going to think, I wonder if this is really the way that it went down. I wonder if there's not more to the story. And that's just human nature. That's not being a bully. That's not being toxic. That's not being mean. That's just being a human.
That's true.
So I have had that
True and
stance
valid.
on all my coverage. Just because
Extremely true and
I
valid
show
statement.
a curiosity to hear the other side of the story, that does not make me
I want to
somebody
hear
who
Reese's
is victim
side.
blaming, victim shaming.
I want to hear Reese's side as
bullying,
well.
Being a mean girl, trying to cancel somebody, or sending them, quote, hate. That's not it at all. That has been a constant manipulated message that I have received in my inbox and in my comment section. Comment sections on numerous videos for many months now, since all of this started. I constantly
love the
see
Disney's
those comments,
the
and at
Disney
this point, it's just
Lindsay's
laughable
dignity name. I think
because
that's a funny
there's
fucking
been
name.
so much presented in terms of Jessica Kent not being truthful. She wasn't truthful about the time that she served. She wasn't truthful about her knowing that she was pregnant before she went to jail. She comes forward after the fact and says, well, I forgot, I don't remember correctly, trauma, I've been through a lot, my mind is not, able to...
And I'm going to also play devil's advocate. When you do a lot of drugs, like Jessica and even myself have done, your brain is not really the way that it should be. Not to, I'm not making excuses, but I forget shit literally all the time. And I'm constantly, you're a liar, because I forget things. But like details of stories, I don't forget. That's crazy. No, I don't forget details of stories, because how could you forget something that actually happened, Traumatic or not, like, I don't know. You can't, how could you change a detail of a story? I don't have hemorrhoids, so I can't tell you how to treat them. Don't people use like preparation H? Isn't that for hemorrhoids? I remember we used to make fun of people.
Tell the story the same time or the same way every single time. Like, I've heard
What the hell does Taco Bell have to do with
variety
hemorrhoids?
of explanations from Jessica. This whole situation has been so frustrating to cover. And automatically I know that people are going to be like, oh, well, why are you covering it? Is it because you get views?
Of course.
My Jessica Kent videos do not perform that well. You can look historically at the ones that I've done. It's not like my Jessica Kent videos get, 5 times what other videos get. That's not the performance that those videos get for creators. And it comes with a whole lot of headache and annoying comments from her fans who have problem with public opinion on her public content and or public information that is readily available to anyone who wants it. That's the first thing that I wanted to say, because in her video, more than half of it covers her toxic, awful relationship with Reese. And I will say what I've said before. I think that she and Reese were both toxic to one another. And what I said from the get-go is I felt like the audience was hearing far too much information about something.
Let me say this, right? I was in a toxic relationship with my ex. We had a relationship primarily based off of drug use, you know, and he put his hands on me and everything else. Just because you're in a toxic relationship, that doesn't give a man the right to fucking physically assault you. It doesn't give a man a right to, like, be abusive, you know. And I seen footage of Reese being abusive. Now, do I know what she might have did to him to make that come out? No, I don't. But there's no excuse for him putting his hands on her. There's no excuse for him calling the cops at 2 a.m. to try to get her car taken away from her. Like, I'm sorry, I don't care what she did. Your children are sleeping in the house that you're sending police to. Like, that shit's bogus and wild to me, and there's no excuse for that. Just like it doesn't matter how toxic I was to Michael, there's no excuse for him breaking into my home and beating the shit out of me in front of my baby. There's no excuse for that shit. And anyone that tries to make an excuse for that bum-ass shit, I question your fucking sanity.
Something that should have been kept private. And if you're not going to keep it private for your own sake, then I felt like it should have been kept private for the sake of her children.
True. Very true.
They are going through enough with life changes and emotions and friends and school, and their mom's on social media, public figure. Their dad is now no longer around. And who knows what else that they have been witness to or heard behind closed doors. I felt like, as an audience, we are not entitled to hear all of this information. It was taking away from her content creating. It was taking away from her just being a solid, consistent creator. And I get it, everybody needs to take a break and deal with personal stuff once in a while, but it's still... there was content being produced that I felt like subscribers should not have been listening to. It was sharing too much, and I started to feel a little weird about it, and you guys know the...
Okay, but respectfully, lady, like when you're a person and you're going through something traumatic, you don't realize that you're oversharing. You really don't. Like, you're just trying to, like, vent because you feel so alone, like, and you feel like nobody gets it. Like, I get it. You know, so I get what you're saying, because like if you don't give those people that ammunition, like they can't use it against you. So I get it.
The rest of the story from there. But for Jessica to come back with this video, and in the beginning of the video, she also confirms that girl Megan, remember Megan? I'll link that video down below. Megan is her editor. So no wonder Megan was just flying off the hinges at anybody who no longer supported Jessica. Now it all makes sense, right? So Megan's her editor, and Jessica films what she calls a panic attack. And
that wasn't a panic attack, by the way.
It's very strange because she's crying, and then she like glances at the camera to make sure the camera is still recording.
Yeah, I feel like that whole situation was fake. I'll give you that. I feel like that was fake. I don't feel like it was an actual panic attack. I don't know what the fuck that was, but it was weird.
Recording, and then goes out of the frame, but still records the phone call. Very, very weird way to start this video, but she shares a lot about Reese and everything that, like, we already knew that there was a lot of bad stuff and a lot of toxicity and a lot of all kinds of stuff. We already knew that. Nobody was, at least that I've seen, nobody was saying, oh, Reese is an angel and would never do that. That is not what I've seen. If anything, I have seen people show curiosity as I've shown curiosity. And there was nothing wrong with that, as a reminder. So a lot of the video is all about Reese, and that was fine. But I wasn't there to necessarily really zone in on that, because I never called into question that their relationship was awful. So she goes into the paperwork section of this video. And I think what Jessica thought is that this video is over 2 hours long. There is no way that with all these screenshots and clips and stuff, people are going to actually pick up on one little thing that was changed. What's being discussed and what was discovered over on Reddit is that she allegedly has altered the document that pertains to her CI situation. And CI is confidential informant for anyone that does not know. I will show those screenshots. What I want to say is, when something like this is exposed and picked up on by viewers, and they come to Jessica with questions they are snapped off on, they get an attitude. They get anger.
For a long time, it's people have been... Jessica Kent always came out and said, I'm not a snitch, I never ratted, blah, 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 blah. Now, people's issue is nobody would have cared if you were an informant, but the fact that you came out here for many years and was like, oh, I didn't rat on anyone and blah, 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 and then shit comes out that you were a CI, like, and you call your supporters the ride or die and all this other stuff, that's a big problem. That's a big fucking problem. It's a big problem.
And hostility from Jessica.
On the original says, on the date alleged in the information, the co-defendant delivered a controlled substance to the defendant, a CI working in conjunction with the FSPD. Edited version says, on the date alleged in the information, the defendant delivered a controlled substance to a CI working in conjunction. Oh, so on the date alleged, in the alleged information, the co-defendant delivered a controlled substance to the defendant, a CI. So this said that she was a CI.
I don't know what kind of person would try to alter a document like this and present it on a YouTube channel.
Yeah, that was dumb.
I don't know what kind of person would alter a document like this and then when they're called out, try to say that, oh no, the original document that was presented by Tracy was actually the fake one. My question is, okay, if the original one was the fake one, why was that not called out when you saw this happening months ago?
It's brought to your attention that I used an unauthorized court document in a YouTube video tied the controversy of what's her name that was shared on the Patreon social media platform. The document you released in this video is not for public viewing. It was not clear to be released via the FOIA records request. The document in question would be the PA's report and the defendant, Jessica Brittany Kent, shown in your video at timestamp a minute and whatever. I apologize for the inconvenience. However, it is the utmost importance that you remove the document from your recording immediately. Should you not remove this document, we will be forced to move forward with legal action against you for the release and publication of a confidential legal document that was not authorized or cleared by the local government agency in which it was obtained. We understand that you were unaware of the confidential status of the document held, and we are addressing the internal negligence that led to your receipt of it within the agency. However, we are notifying you now via this communication. This is your initial notification to cease and desist and remove this document from your video. If you do not do as requested, legal action will ensue immediately. You will be receiving a legal cease and desist notification via USPS certified in the mail in coming days. We are requesting that upon receipt of this communication, you immediately remove this unauthorized document and destroy, delete any remaining copies you may have.
But now, current day, Jessica's credibility is being called into question. So what is it? Point the finger back at the person
Let me say this for the last fucking time.
The original.
My sister's husband didn't. It's not my sister's husband. The neighbor across the street, the dude that lives across the street. He doesn't live there anymore, but he used to live across the street. Okay, that's who gave my husband drugs, and that's who I think gave my husband drugs. I'm not 1,000% sure, but I'm like 90% sure. Not my sister's husband. Idiots. Was he with my sister once upon a fucking time? Yes. Him and my sister were together once upon a fucking time. Were they together when he gave my husband drugs? No. My sister was married to someone else at that time. Okay, my sister was in a whole other marriage at that time. My sister is currently married to another person, but here you go making shit up.
Document. And at the end of the day, the Fort Smith Police Department, they were the ones, this was an oversight by them based on my understanding. So they were the ones that sent this unintentionally or by mistake or whatever. And they contacted Tracy about it, and we saw all of that unfold. But with Jessica allegedly altering this document specifically, what it did for me is call into question everything else that is presented by her. Am I saying that everything is a lie? No, absolutely not. But it did further break my trust. As I've said before, Jessica Kent is the type of person, and I've really been able to recognize this no longer being a supporter. Jessica Kent is the type of person who thinks that she is smarter than everybody who watches her channel. She thinks that she is more intelligent and slicker than y'all that are still supporting her. And she thought that she could present an over 2-hour video and nobody would pick up on that small, minute, tiny, tiny little detail. But they did. And they're talking about it, and they're discussing it, and they're dissecting it. And they are calling her out for allegedly altering a legal document.
Isn't that illegal?
Allegedly. Again, I have to say allegedly, even though I have my own thoughts about it. We're going to have to see what happens. But who on earth would even think about doing that? What are you thinking? Who on earth is going to sit there and make this, present it, and then get mad at people who caught it? That's wild. I would never have the gall or the audacity to sit there and edit anything and present it to you guys.
But
as
she
if,
did
oh,
it,
this
and
is
here
just
I
the
am,
information.
so
Let me go
cry
ahead
about
and edit it and make it look like it's, just another thing, and then show it to you guys and still expect people to believe a word that I say. The thing with Jessica, though, is she realizes that this is kind of the end of the road for her with a lot of people, as far as a lot of people who really entrusted in her and had faith in her and looked up to her as a role model.
True.
A lot of those people have checked out and they're watching commentary videos or hanging out over on Reddit, leaving their own thoughts and opinions because they have just had enough with being misled and lied to by her. Like, you weren't even forthcoming about how much time you served in prison. That of all things. And I realize that some people have had the argument of, oh, well, when you're in there, you haven't been in there, so you don't know, you don't get it. Time is no object, and it's easy to be confused and all this kind of stuff. What I can tell you is that if you have a child while you were in prison and you are released and you immediately hit the ground running to regain custody of your child, I don't know, to me, like, the math is pretty simple to keep that in your head. What day did I go in and what day did I come out? How old was my child? How long was I in there?
She's right. She's right on that. Like, you would be able to gauge it by your kid's age. So real simple to know how much time you did. And she always says that, I don't know. It's hard to remember. It's hard to tell how long I was actually in jail for. It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't.
This is my origin story. And for me, as I've said in other videos too, I'm not going to get the really simple things when it comes to my origin story incorrect. There are like 5 things when you're becoming this kind of creator. There are like 5 main things that you introduce everybody. You know, you introduce yourself to everybody. Interviews, podcasts, videos, TikToks, Instagram videos, random articles, TED Talks. You're going to start with that as your intro. So why on earth are you having any problem?
And there's
being
all
transparent about the
like
timeline?
yeah, there's like
That
all
is your
conflicting
literal
times. She
origin
said
story.
6 years,
Why-
5 years. She said all different 2 years. It's
so
nobody
hard.
knows.
Like, why would someone say that they were in prison longer than they actually were? It's because they want to seem tough. They want to seem like a hardened criminal. And we've seen the Jubilee video where, you know, she's lined up with other people that serve time. And it's like, it's just this like tough girl persona that has been built as a brand for her. And
Yep.
I think that some people expect that certain things are never going to come to light, but with her they did. And if you catch it and you call it out, you're going to be yelled at or called a bully. So, you know, I don't appreciate the, oh, well, the original document was edited. And, you know, trying to basically say that somebody else is forging documents, even though we saw the original document. There was never any mention of, no, that's not the document. That is not, that's not it. Like, don't you think that the Fort Smith Police Department would have caught on if something was altered before they asked Tracy to remove the damn video or remove that part from her video or whatever they asked for? Like, come on. I'm tired of the, I'm tired of the half-truths. I'm tired of the gaslighting. I'm tired of the manipulation tactics. I'm tired of being called a bully and a hater and attacking somebody or any of the other nonsense that I've heard. I've had it way up to here, and that's why I've scaled back my coverage on Jessica, because it is just the same nonsense on a new day.
So, I mean, I agree with a lot of the things that this lady had to say, but let's go into more. Jessica can't, I wanted to watch this video, so let's watch this.
Means they just said, a bunch of people just said that you were the dude.
Methamphetamine in the firearm.
Conspiracy.
Conspiracy.
Hold on, let's go back. So, don't send anyone hate, Boba.
Watch these women tell their stories, take it at face value, like I said, because it's true. These women hustle. They get that money. I know for a fact Jessica was getting that money. I was getting that money out there. I got my case. I got my paper. I have all my paper.
Yeah, I try to be like that in the street. I try to help people, look out for them and stuff. If I'm doing good, you're doing good. If I, you know.
So much so that your motion of discovery was like a lot of people folded on him. And conspiracy to deliver meth means they just said, a bunch of people just said that you were the dude.
Methamphetamine in the firearm.
Conspiracy.
Conspiracy.
Ugh, I hate conspiracy laws.
Anybody can go for that. All I have to do is say you were selling drugs and agree to testify in open court, and you will be gone.
Well, like 20 people said you were. Or you lost everyone's house. That's just the nature of the business. And I'm like, I see that because I'm looking at this shit and I got 20 people I've never met before that told on me. So cool. So that's just what they did.
Today we are going to be talking about Jessica Kemp, a channel that has kind of become like a drama channel in sorts, and maybe she could even be placed in like the dirty laundry sector of YouTube. She speaks about everybody being a drama channel and she hurls that around like it is an insult. Maybe truly it is just her projecting what she has become, because her channel features all the drama surrounding people that she personally knows. There is literally nobody's tea around her that she's
Her channel is a drama channel. It's a drama jail channel.
not going to share on her channel. She uses the people around her vulnerable moments and just their moments in general for content on her channel. And that is very similar to what she is going after others for doing. The only difference is the people on YouTube who are doing commentary do not know a lot of these people personally, and they are not exposing information that is not known to the public. I guess I could also say she is a questionable prison and recovery channel, and unfortunately you have to put the word questionable in front of it, even though she did serve prison time and she is part of the recovery community, because there are a lot of questions surrounding her story times.
And I really didn't until I did, until my motion of discovery came back and there was strangers in it. People snitched on me that I had never met before. I still haven't even read my police report, actually, because Arkansas only gave me my booking sheet, and I never asked for the motion of discovery because the old me got the motion of discovery to see who snitched on me, and that I would handle that after I got out. The new me wanted to be something different, to not think about that shit, and to move on, to retire from that life, so I haven't even seen my own motion of discovery. Routine traffic stop. This is very different. And within 5 minutes, DTF was on scene, the Drug Task Force. And that looks like unmarked cars and cops in regular street clothes and like a badge with like around their neck or whatever. And I'm looking around and I'm like, oh fuck. Usually when I go to jail, it's just a second cop car pulls up and maybe a drug dog. Yeah, right. This looks dramatic, you know? So I immediately was like running through my mind of, this has been an investigation and they know who the fuck we are. Holy shit, you've been following me for weeks. And my heart sinks. And I didn't say that. The only thing I said to him at this point was take me back to my cell. But it's coming back. Like, you didn't think I was stealing in Walmart. You were following me in Walmart. Like, I saw him in a car at a hotel. I saw him at a restaurant. And now it's like all hitting me at once and I feel sick to my stomach. And they continue to yell at me. I don't feel good. It's very obvious that I'm like coming down and I feel like shit. So finally I'm just like, I want a lawyer. I just want a lawyer. And the agent says, damn right you want a lawyer. You want to see the pictures we have of you? Now keep in mind, right? So I got arrested at like 4:30 in the morning because I was a complete tweaker at the gas station trying to buy snacks. So I got arrested for possession with intent, delivery of meth, and simultaneous possession of drugs and a firearm.
Someone just called, or?
There was an investigation, an open investigation on, not me, everyone else that I had met along the way.
Okay. Oh, don't tell me you're the badass.
I'm not, though.
In the second spot, we have Jessica at 5 years.
5 years, wow.
Really, huh? Let me find out it was a nail.
You were messing with us the whole time.
In the first spot.
So, less than a year. She served less than a year, according to the paperwork. And that's what's so crazy to me because she's out here saying 5, 6, like, oh, it's crazy.
You asked Jessica this, but I'm going to go ahead and answer because I kind of have a clue of what's going on. See, I did my time in the state of Oregon where you do 85% of your time. It's the same in the state of Florida. I did some county time out there, but I just got back from the state of Arkansas where Jessica did her time. And while I was out in Arkansas, I got to go into a jail, spend some time with inmates that are going through a treatment program. I spent an hour interviewing the sheriff of that county jail, and I got to talk to a lot of people. And what I found out about Arkansas is that you only do 2.5 months out of every year that you get sentenced to.
So I got a 5-year sentence, and it's very confusing how they do it in Arkansas, but I got 5 years. I had to just serve a minimum of 50% of my time because of the gun. So they do that on all gun charges. You have to serve a minimum of 50% of your sentence, even though the gun was null processed, which means they didn't formally, like, they reduced it.
Which is absolutely wild and confusing, and I'm not sure why they ever started doing it that way, but you can get extra time taken away from you if you get write-ups or something like that.
I didn't have the 20 days it took to transfer me from medium security prison back to a maximum security prison. I got kicked out of that prison basically for fighting, and I had a really hard go of it. So I was locked up, and there was probably 60 cells in this unit, and they were full. They had 1 or 2 cells to spare. They always kept those cells full. Some people were ad-sag, which means the prison decides you can't come out indefinitely, and there's reasons behind that. I was punitive segregation, which means I got in trouble and I'm locked up. Instinct, I went bam, and I hit the cop kind of in like the chest area or stomach, and you know, I kind of like did that and went, like I realized like, you just hit the cop. So she backed up and 2 other guards backed up and they sprayed me like in the face almost. Like they kind of reached their little spray can around and sprayed me, and I immediately stopped what I was doing.
So like a lot of this is just contradicting. Like they're calling her out.
I got like a direct hit of pepper spray, and the chick I was fighting got it, and we're coughing and eyes are running, it just burns. And they kind of got on top of me, put me in handcuffs and dragged me to SEG.
So nobody's sentencing is going to end up anywhere near what they were actually sentenced to when they go to do that time, and everything can depend on your behavior while you're locked up.
And some things just don't add up because she has embellished a lot of her stories, which is really sad because she has...
So if she got sentenced to 5 years and you only have to serve 2 months of the year of your sentence, she 5 times 2, 10 months. 10 months. She did 10 months. 10 months!
Has caused this herself. She has caused the internet to question her, and she has taken away from her own story. And she did have an interesting story to begin with, but she just got carried away with her embellishments. And I do want to say, I won't say she lied about everything, because that is where things have gotten really sticky lately. I think the assumption for everyone is she has lied about everything. And that is what happens when you lose the trust of people. People are not going to believe anything you say. But me, on the outside looking in, it really seems like she has mixed a lot of her truths with lies. And she has embellished her story times as a way to generate what she thinks fast success on YouTube. Before I start my commentary, it is very clear that I have struggled to post content about her, and it's because I've taken a step back and realized that this is not about accountability, because it seems that she is never going to take accountability. And sometimes you have to question how much of the beast you are feeding yourself.
But we're also, it's not our job to hold people accountable, especially on the internet. Like, it's not our job. It's our, you know, if we want to, like, you know, call someone out, that's one thing, but we don't hold them accountable.
Because Jessica Kent, in my opinion, likes people talking about her. It gives her views, it gives her something to speak about, it drives attention to her channel, and if you look at her channel, despite her being a channel that reached 1 million subscribers, her channel is suffering. She's barely getting views, and the views that she is able to get are views off of drama. And it seems that drama is fueling her channel at this point. And I know that it's been over a month since I have covered her, but I'm gonna pop in and give some updates. And I do want to add, even though I have struggled with making content about her, I do feel that there is more that that can be covered about her and things that could be said. It's just I don't know if I really want to continue to make content on her just because of the way this thing is going. But as I said, I feel like there is things that could be spoken about, especially with the situation with the creator Nicole, which in my opinion she has done very shitty and it deserves more exposure. So let's get to the topic of this video. So Jessica Kent recently posted...
but Nicole, like the whole situation with Nicole is wild too, because like Nicole is like obsessed, like Nicole every day, like Nicole makes like 855 videos on her
video where she speaks about Jason Forrester, which he is her alleged boyfriend, her friend, her bodyguard, whatever he is to her. He got arrested by the feds at her house. And I think a lot of us could see this coming because there was a lot of rumors circulating that Jason was wanted by the feds and that he had violated his parole and he was on the run. It's just that there wasn't any really proof to know if it was true, which
I didn't know he got
there
locked
was
up.
an anonymous source on Reddit that came in and said that Jason had his doors busted in by the feds, and it was very weird because Jessica Kent was at the height of her exposure at that time, and is very interesting because that actually was the case, and it was kind of like they were trying to take the attention off of Jessica Kent and put it on Jason Forrester. So anyways, a lot of people saw it coming. And I think for me, I really started to realize that it probably was true when Jason Forrester had posted on Facebook that he was dating Jessica Kent, and then shortly after he had pulled it off. I thought to myself when I saw that, he is taking that off because he knew he was being watched. And when you're being watched by the feds, you know that they are going to do their research and they're going to find out who you're tied to and where they could possibly find you. So when he posted that on Facebook, he was basically telling the feds, look, this is one of the places you can find me. So it's not alarming that he did get busted at Jessica Kent's house. I think a lot of us saw that coming. It was very clear that they were in a relationship, and even though he was on the run, Jessica Kent had him around her children, which is not cool. But before we start on the commentary on the arrest, I really wanted to make this video and just add something a little bit different. I wanted to take it all the way back and explore Jessica and Jason's relationship. We will be using a lot of information that Jessica Kent has shared online. In fact, all of the information is stuff that they have shared online. Because as I said, Jessica Kent airs out her own dirty laundry and those around her as well. So, as we can see on YouTube, Jason's personality is someone who likes to run to the defense of others. And he is a very loyal person from the looks of it. That's just me on the outside looking in. I do not know these people personally, so, you know, it could not be an accurate description, but it seems to me that he is very loyal. And he is always running to Jessica's defense.
It's the 15th time you guys been here.
For me, it's the first, and I apologize. Whoever were here before, but I'm looking to talk to Jessica.
Okay, about what?
In regards to her children.
So let me get Judge Klein called?
Okay, exactly. So what's the problem?
The problem is we go through every fucking day with this guy.
Okay, well
when you guys gonna realize it's a fucking bullshit thing, man?
Jessica's not lying because she didn't use our names. The police report wouldn't be out for 2 weeks if they said a week. She's not gonna put our names out there. We were gonna do our own thing. They said nothing to do it, Nicole. Reese gave her the paperwork. Just to discredit. Yes. I don't have time right now for that.
Her
Kind
boyfriend?
of move around, okay? You know? Nicole, you said you got the paperwork for her on the FOIA side, right? These women hustle. They get that money. I know for a fact Jessica was getting that money out there.
And that is exactly how they met. Jason was coming to her defense. Jason speaks about a situation where he was on the boardwalk and he sees Jessica Kent getting into an altercation. He runs to her defense, and according to both of them, he did this without even a thank you.
Boardwalk. So I was at the boardwalk one day, and I was coming out the boardwalk, and I see Jess there with some guys harassing her a little bit, and she's over there mouthing off and, you know, doing her thing. And I'm like, what is she doing over here? Why is this girl over here in this spot? It's a messed up spot, man. It's a high drug area. So I'm like, man, this ain't gonna go good for her. So I walked up on her and I'm like, hey, come on, let's go. Let's get out of here. She's like, who the fuck are you, motherfucker, type shit. And I'm like, man, let's just go. So she ended up leaving with me, jumping in the car with me, and things were going bad for her over there if I didn't show up. But I was always like that with people.
Yeah, I never like told you thank you either. I'm mouthy. I don't need your help. I did though.
And it seems that is something that Jason is doing currently. So to add, Jason is supposedly helping Jessica Kent while he is incarcerated. Jason Forrester is like a troubled, shining knight that is constantly running to Jessica Kent's defense, and he is not even helping himself when it comes to finding solutions to his own problems.
Damn.
So it's not a shocker that this man is freshly incarcerated and he is still worried about Jessica Kent and trying to help her with her current issues that are surrounding her. So Jason, as an attempt to try to help Jessica Kent with a solution with a lot of the things that she has going on, he decides to contact somebody on the outside to contact Mindy. If you don't know who Mindy is, quickly, she is one of Jessica Kent's ex-friends who is also a content creator. She once lived with Jessica Kent while she was escaping an abusive relationship. She has exposed a lot of the things happening in Jessica Kent's house because Jessica attempted to expose Mindy, and they fell out because of it, and it did not end well for Jessica. Well, Jason has this person on the outside calling Mindy with his old phone, and this person is saying that Jason is willing to pay money if she gives information to Jessica's production company regarding Tracy Noel and information on discovering Nicole, another content creator in the recovery community. This is all supposed to be used in this documentary that Jessica Kent is making to try to save her reputation with a lot of the controversies that surround her.
Someone sent me a text message from this phone number that already had a text thread with it, you know, and I glanced at the message above it and noticed that it was Jason, the last person that had texted me. So I was like, that's fucking weird, you know, because it was Jason's phone. And the text message said, I wish I could read it to you guys, but I'm on the phone, so I can't read it to you guys. The text message said, hey, I work for Jason. I work for Jessica. I'm Robbie, more like it. I work for Jason, and Jason has a deal for you. He wants you to call me. So, of course, I called because it's just my nature. I can't help it. I maybe shouldn't have, but of course I'm going to call out of curiosity. And so I'm like, hello? And he's like, is this Mindy? I'm like, yeah, this is she. What's up? And he's like, so Jason has a deal for you. There's a production company. He was trying to make it sound like he is one of his little gang flunkies, you know, like another gang member or something, you know. That's what it sounded like to me. And so,
a gang member?
He says, Jason has a deal for you. Some producers have picked up all this shit, like the Jessica story with all of us, I guess. And Jason wants you to give up Nicole and Tracy, and he will give you his check. And I was like, I don't move grimy like that. I would never do something like that. You would have called him too. I mean, yeah, I was so curious.
That's
I had
crazy.
to. JK is the producer, laugh out loud. I don't know who the producer is, and I don't know what's going on. And he was like,
did she just say laugh out loud?
Well, when you see the size of these checks, you'll probably change your mind because I'm getting paid just to do this. And I was like, no, thank you. I don't get down like that. Those girls are my friends.
And I have all the text messages. They text
this
her
is
and
Nicole.
They said, hey, I work for Jason. He has an opportunity or a deal for you. I'm going to call you, or you need to call me. So they ended up on the phone together. And this person told her that they would literally cut her a check to tell this person all the things that they need to know about me and Tracy. Like our names, which you already know. My full name and address is already online, but Tracy's is not, you know what I mean? And so that's where I was like really upset, because I was like, that's fucked up, because she's not online, you know? Her identity is not online. They said that they're doing a docuseries with a production company, and they will pay Mindy to tell them all the information she has on Nicole and Tracy. So of course, Mindy called me right away and gave me the phone number to this person, calling her and asking her for that information. So y'all know me, I don't mince fucking words. I fucking called the bitch ass motherfucker. And of course they didn't answer the phone. So I texted him and I said, hey, I heard you want to know about me. How about getting it straight from the horse's mouth? Me. And of course they didn't respond. They messaged Mindy back and said, Jason already doesn't trust you, and you're going to go and tell them, yeah, you dumb motherfucker. Like, honestly, so I'm sitting there thinking, docuseries, production, who's making a docuseries right now? Is Jason and Jessica literally sitting on the jailhouse phone plotting out ways to get information on Tracy and I?
Now, Tracy Noel is one of the creators that has really done the research and has been leading the way exposing many of Jessica Kent's lies. She is an anonymous YouTuber, and she goes by a fake name. Sometimes a content creator is anonymous on YouTube due to safety issues and concerns for the creator. Tracy Noel has shared parts of her story online, and honestly, her story is pretty heartbreaking. She is a survivor of DV, and her identity is private for safety reasons due to that issue. I don't know if Jessica Kent doesn't realize, but not all women get to leave their abuser and go and buy a house. Some women have to go into hiding, and this comes with things like name changes, address changes. There are women who...
Oh, wait. Is her face on the screen? Because if her face is on the screen, then that makes no sense. Just saying.
Who really have to flee their old life behind in order to create a new life because they are hiding from their abuser, because their lives are truly at risk. There are women who go to domestic violence shelters many states away from where they had lived previously with their abuser. So a life can be put at risk trying to unmask and expose information on someone, especially if they went through things like a name change or even an address change. It's disgusting that Jason is working with Jessica Kent trying to find Tracy's identity, because let's not forget to mention that Jessica Kent is the one that has access to Jason's phone. So if someone is calling with that phone, she has given them that phone. But at the end of the day, you really have to think to yourself, what less can you expect from Jessica Kent when she allegedly tried to be in communication with Mindy's abuser as well, to dangerously claim that she was with her ex Reese because she knew that Mindy's ex would not be too happy, and that is dangerous. It is sad and tragic that she is plotting with Jason to take down women who are DV survivors, and at the same time she is on the internet stating that people are hurting her because she is a DV victim. But all DV victims need to be respected, and she is not respecting other DV victims. To add commentary on them trying to find her on Nicole, she seems to be pretty transparent and honest, and she airs out her own information. What could they really find on her to quote-unquote expose her? Jason and Jessica would also run into each other a few times before he was arrested for 10 years. One time it was described on YouTube that Jessica Kent's boyfriend was desperate to get substances from Jason. So her boyfriend was desperate to give Jessica anything. Apparently he was trying to give his watch, and for some reason Jason was like, I want to catch a glimpse of this chick that you are in this room with. And it's just kind of weird because his boyfriend was ready to give up anything for the drugs. So Jason goes into the room, and Jessica apparently is not too happy that he was in the room, and she got a little feisty according to their accounts and told him to get out because she did not want him in the room.
Next time we met, I was at a hotel chilling next door, and her boyfriend at the time came in there and was trying to get some dope for me. And he was kind of messed up at the time and stuff, and he tried to give me a watch and all this stuff, and He's like, I got this girl in the room. I'm trying to go hang out, kick it with her, this and that. Give me something. So I'm like, well, let me see this chick. So I walk over to the room, and it's her in the room. And she's acting all, again, mouthy.
I don't know where you're getting this from.
Yeah. She's acting all mouthy and stuff and telling me to get out of the room and quit coming around and this and that. So I just left. And like the next day, I went to prison on a high-speed chase.
We had seen each other a couple of times before that, though.
The very next day after that encounter, Jason Forrester was arrested on a high-speed chase, and he would do 10 years in federal prison.
Bat phone.
Officers say Jason Forrester raced through the streets of Bend last Thursday. The district attorney's office says Forrester traded drugs for a weapon with an undercover narcotics officer. Police attempted to pull the suspect over and say that's when he sped off.
Whoa!
Officers chased Forrester onto Interstate 540.
Bad boys, bad boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they're coming for you?
Bend police canceled the pursuit when the suspect did South 540 in Fort Smith. Fort Smith officers take over.
It's during rush hour traffic, so there's a lot of people on the roads, and they'll create danger also.
Police arrest Forrester at the Hardscrabble Country Club. Fort Smith police passed the suspect over to Arkansas State Police. Arkansas State Police transported the suspect back here to Crawford County. The district attorney's office says the U.S. Marshal Service picked him up. In Bend, Mallory Cope, 5 News. The prosecutor's office says Forrester faces a slew of charges.
Jessica's baby daddy and Jessica would be arrested shortly after Jason, and Jessica, Jason, and the boyfriend would meet again in jail. And she would spot him in the hallway in jail, and this would lead to her starting a relationship where they become pen pals. She would write him and apologize to him for her crappy attitudes towards him, and for whatever reason, she wanted to establish this relationship with him in prison. Jason Forrester supposedly is known as like the dude who knows how to read people's paperwork and he gives people advice about their situation that they have going on with their incarceration.
The friend, he could be a lawyer, he's so talented, but he was also an inmate. And he said, just wait, dude, just be patient. People sign plea agreements that they don't agree with or that they don't want just to get out of town jail to go to prison. Don't be that person. I'm like, bro, who are you telling? Like, I'm not that person. I'm patient.
Yeah.
And I waited for 6 months. And one evening, I think it was about 4 o'clock, my public defender pulled me out and we went in this little room by the mail pods. And he hands me these papers and he said, you were signing this today. I pick it up and I look at it and it says 5 years. And I thought, oh my God, 5 years, I have to sign this. So before I signed it, I ran out to the hallway and I told my friend Forrester, I'm like, yo, get out of the shower. And everyone's yelling for him. They're like, yo, New York is at the door, which is my nickname in that jail. New York's at the door. My friend comes out like half naked out of the shower, runs down the stairs. He's thinking something's wrong with the baby. You know, it's not even his baby, but he thinks something's wrong. So he's like almost breaks his face because he's so scared. He's so worried. And I'm like, hey, like I just watched this half naked tied up dude almost break his face on the stairs. So I'm laughing at him because it just looked hilarious. And he's like, what? What's happening? Is the baby okay? Are you okay? And I'm like, what's up? Should I sign for 5 years? And he's like, I almost hurt myself on the stair. Whatever. Yes, sign for 5 years. And I was like, okay, cool. He's like, sign that shit right now. So I walked over to my lawyer who witnessed all of this mania. And I'm like, okay, I'll sign. He's like, did you just take Jason Forrester's word over mine?
Exactly. Like, I'm a lawyer. Yeah.
I'm like, I trust him more than I trust you. I'll sign it.
So Jason Forrester gets this letter from Jessica Kent, and he's very impressed with Jessica Kent. He's reading the paperwork. It's stating that she is claiming, possibly while under the influence, that everything was hers, and she was basically just trying to catch the charge and not let her baby daddy fall down for the charge.
I saw you in the doorway. He's always just so happy. She's grin smiling. I'm like, what the fuck is he smiling about in jail? Like, why are you so happy? But that's just always how you are. So I saw you and you were a familiar face. So my awkward 2-day sober ass was like, hi. And I'm like, oh, we hate each other. So I immediately was like, I wish I could take that one back, you know? And I'm at the door of the jail of my pod, the CD pod, and I'm like, let me in, please let me in. He's staring at me. I was so awkward. So then I got back there and I'm like, I should write him and apologize, you know, because you did look out and you did help me out and, you know, my bad, homie. And we just became friends ever since.
Yeah, I was in the pod with her boyfriend at the time. He wasn't a good dude as far as I was concerned. Her baby daddy, whatever you want to call him, bum ass dude. But anyhow, I was in the pod with her baby daddy, and he had his paperwork, and I was going through his paperwork looking at it because I've been through the feds a couple times. I know what to look for and stuff. And I seen her name in there, and she was trying to take all the charges for him, like telling him that it was my dope, my gun, whatever, don't give him no charges. It was all me. But they wanted him and her both, I guess. But once I seen that, I seen she was a stand-up girl, and I wrote her back. You know, I wrote her and just started kicking it. You know, and every time I seen her, I'd be smiling and happy. I was like that with everybody in there, just to let them know, don't be depressed in here. I know it sucks, it's a bad situation, but don't put your head down, man. Keep your head up. Don't let these people see you sweat.
This gives Jason Forrester the assumption that Jessica Kent was a very loyal chick, and he wanted to get to know her. Jessica and Jason would allegedly write to each other while he was serving 10 years and her 1. While writing him, she would tell him everything from her struggles and goals in prison and what she was planning to do when she got out, to then speaking on the outside with him about her own personal life. She would tell him things like she was getting implants, and she even complained to him about the fight she had with Reese.
It's been 10 years. I remember thinking, like, if I'm gonna write him, I'm gonna write him forever. Like, I'm gonna die writing this person.
She did.
I thought it would be a lifetime. So I would write him, telling him, I'm gonna get my daughter, I'm gonna go to school, I'm gonna be successful, I'm not going back to prison, I'm gonna do parole, and I would tell him all the things that I did. Even I think I told you I was gonna get big boobs one time.
I think so. I got a lot of stuff saved. I got a lot of stuff saved. Emails saved about, you know, I was very supportive of her too. Everything she said you want to do, I told her she can do it. You know, and you can. Everybody can. You put your mind to it, you can do it. If you take your mind and put it to what you want, you can do it.
Was I annoying you and crying on the phone?
Yes, you were. But that's what you're supposed to do. No, they really broke up. They had some issues. They had some issues they had to work through, you know. And
I need a co-signer.
Yeah. No, everybody has problems in a relationship, man. If you know one has a perfect relationship. There's no perfect relationship. And
now, it is alleged that Jessica Kent was emotionally cheating on her ex with Jason while she was with her fiance, Reese. And she was emotionally cheating for many years. Because messages were exposed showing that she was speaking to him in a very sensual way. There is metadata on the letters that were exposed that do look highly probable that they are actual letters from Jason and Jessica while Jason was incarcerated. These messages
But
were
like,
eventually...
where did that come from? Like, that's, you know, like, this came... that looks kind of edited to me right there. Like, I could be wrong, but like, where did this come from?
given to Reese.
Me and Reese hung out for a whole year. When Jess and me were talking, it was me and Reese talking, hanging out. He ate at my house. He slept at my house. We went out all the time. We were doing, you know, things. He met all my friends. He knows everybody. So I know how he is. I know how he gets.
After Jason was released, he would start being around Jessica and her fiance at the time, Reese. Jessica and Jason fell out, and he ended up being a little more closer to Reese. So, Jason is described as being a very loyal person, but he's very revengeful when he is mad. So at the point when he had fell out with Jessica, and he ended up being closer with Reese, he shared the emails with Reese when he was...
No, they weren't together, Dragon. They were just friends. And then she was in a relationship, and then, yeah.
Was basically beefing with Jessica.
Jason allegedly sent these emails to Reese, because I know Reese said that this has happened, but was that right before he relapsed, or was that very, like, did it all kind of happen, like, boom, boom, boom?
He was in his relapse. When Jessica and Jason got into it over something with Jason's girlfriend, I'm not going to like lie and act like I know what happened, because I don't remember exactly what happened, but they had a falling out, something over Jason's girlfriend, and they were mortal enemies. I mean, enemies.
This fallout is verified by Jessica Kent's own words.
Jason relapsed, I don't even know, January, February, March. I want to say like April. I don't know, March or April of 2022, and we really didn't talk that much after that, because obviously I have to protect myself and my family, and I just can't have that kind of stuff around me.
If you do the research, you will find that a lot of the things that people say actually line up one way or another, because Jessica Kent ends up verifying it through her own words, or by showing the same text messages that others have shown. She really is just verifying that a lot of the information that's being shared by others is actually accurate. Jessica Kent ends up being friends with Jason again. She seems to, in my opinion, really need him, because she's dealing with a lot with her ex, and she needs help with getting her house together. So Jason steps in and helps her out. He helps her build her studio, and he helps with things like getting furniture from her ex, and getting revenge on her ex for harassing her with wellness checks. Which, by the way, she tries to blame that on her subscribers, but it appears that her ex was the one that was repeatedly calling in wellness checks and making reports to DCF.
I'm trying to tell him everything that's been going on, but even when we were in the hotel, I was getting wellness checks at my door from the hotel saying, your dad called. I'm like, my dad doesn't know what hotel I'm in. I didn't tell my dad what was going on, because I don't want my family to worry. Now, that was back in October, so I'm at the hotel getting wellness checks done by the staff at the hotel. Then I move into the house, I'm getting wellness checks done by cops in my face at 2 a.m. Or the cops, DCFS is at my door. So I've been investigated by DCFS for 4 months straight. They just closed the second case just the other day. So for 4 months, DCFS has investigated me on 2 separate cases.
I can relate, girl. I can relate.
And it's just exhausting, so...
You get to the point where, you know, I've been here a couple times.
Sick.
And it gets to the point where you're just so fucking aggravated. I'll yell at the cops out. Get the fuck out of here, you know? And
compare notes, dude. Like,
yeah, they don't, first shift don't tell second shift don't tell third shift, whatever the fuck. They just, all hours of the night, they're showing up over here. You know, I'll be here doing work, fixing something, or doing something, and next, you know, the cops are at the door. You know what I mean? To get Jessica. And I'm like, she's sleeping, get the fuck out of here. You know, like, oh no, we can't, the kids are here. I'm like, you ain't get in. You know, you gotta come down and settle me down to tell them. And I'm not fucked up to yell at the cop, you know, because they got no rights. They didn't follow the law, they didn't follow the law. And what he was doing is basically using them to harass.
What's up,
and that is
Nicole?
why Jason stepped in and helped her get revenge by basically setting up a situation where someone would go and check on Reese in the middle of the night and irritate him. While Jason was helping Jessica with her studio and helping her deal with her ex, he was sadly battling with staying clean and staying in line with his probation. It appears that even though Jason has spent 1 decade in jail, he has not left the lifestyle behind, and he has been institutionalized when you really look at it. However, before he was arrested, several YouTubers had stated the recent downfall of Jason was coming, because Jason actually had also been in communication with channels and was giving information. He was telling these creators that he had busted out of rehab after spending 2 days in, and he also stated that Jessica punched him in the face because he had busted out of rehab and did not fully commit to the full amount of time that he was supposed to while he was in rehab.
Man, Jason, who has been selling and using drugs, I talked to Jason on the phone for an hour. He admitted to relapsing on methamphetamine. He told me that you punched him in the face because he left rehab, okay? He told me that you guys were together and that y'all were in love, but he couldn't talk about it on YouTube because you don't want people to know on YouTube. All this is in our 1 hour long conversation. That's why Jason will only post one snippet of it, because in the whole conversation, I asked him all these questions, and we were just laughing and giggling and having the best time, and he admitted it all to me.
Jessica says, well, if you were high, you wouldn't be around me. And he just left rehab 2 weeks ago, and she punched him in the eye when he left rehab because he only stayed for 2 days. I'd like to point out that lie, just that simple lie. And if you lie, no one sober goes to rehab. Who is sober and goes to rehab? If you're not drunk or high on something, you don't go to rehab. And in the video, she says Jason injured her life in December of 2022. So he's been back in her life since December 2022, and 2 weeks ago he went to rehab. Yet she says, if you were high, you wouldn't be around me. So which is it? So that little lie, I just want to point that out, because if you lie about that, you lie about anything.
Jessica Kent, after one of the creators, Mindy, exposed it on an interview, would run to her TikTok and claim that his insurance would not cover rehab. But like I said, she states things that are true, but she mixes it with lies. And that is why she says he did not complete the rehab requirements. She was making it appear that he did not bust out of rehab, but rather it was his insurance who was at fault. Well, fast forward to now.
She also says that Jason's only been sober for 2 weeks, so his start date was like April something, his end date was 5/5. The only reason he left rehab is because his insurance kicked him out, so now he does intense outpatient.
We now know that allegedly Jason's cousin had sadly passed and that he did indeed bust out of rehab. His insurance would then not cover the second attempt to rehab because he was sober at the time of trying to get into rehab, allegedly, according to Jessica Kemp. So, as I said before, Jessica's own words end up confirming the actual truths of what she says. You just really got to pay attention because there are truths mixed in with lies.
They tell him that he has to go to a 28-day treatment facility. He gets there and it's not great. It's not great. Unfortunately, during that time where he was supposed to be at that treatment center for 28 days, his nephew unalived himself. And the night that we were all together to have like a memorial type of get together for him, Jason decided to leave treatment. He was just so frustrated and hurt and upset, and it was a mess. Well, that was on a Friday. Monday morning, Jason goes back to treatment, and now his insurance is saying, yeah, you came in clean with not a dirty way. We're not going to pay for inpatient treatment. So they sent him to an intense outpatient treatment pending court. So
Jason is spiraling out of control, and unfortunately, Jessica's children are all being subjected to this. This situation is messy. This is Jessica Kent's boyfriend. He has it on his Facebook, you know? Not really a good situation to have around children. And look, I know not everybody's not perfect, and people love sometimes people that are not good for you. But as Jessica Kent says, he is a walking red flag.
Wrong, very negative opinions of Jason. He's a whole fucking red flag. He is a walking, talking red flag. And he's got a lot of issues, you know? He's flawed. He's genuinely a good person, and I love that man, and I will forever have his back. I will forever be his ride or die. And, you know.
So, you know, low-key, she knows it's not a good thing that she has him around her kids. Because who wants a walking red flag around your kids? It's just a situation that typically doesn't always have good scenarios in it. And I found it really interesting to see that her subscribers, too, are calling her out now on this relationship.
Your poor daughter's this whole time parading around with Jason, acting like he's so much better than Reese. When Reese got arrested for shooting a gun, it was Jason that was behind it. These videos are truly disgusting. I have lost any and all respect I've ever had for you. I don't give a F if you're just drinking. You keep letting crazy ish into your life because you like it. I don't have sympathy for you anymore. You are being a bad mom. The girls will remember this forever. The time Mommy's tweaker boyfriend dealer got arrested and then Mommy made videos about it. It's seriously pathetic. For Christ's sake, get some help. Whoo! That was a read. That was a read. You state he regretted having his daughter see him get arrested in the past, but he was willing to put your daughters through the same situation years later. Even worse, so were you. Shaking my head. What a bloody mess. How could you deal with people with so many legal problems? The guy clearly fled and you didn't expect him to get locked up again? Stop making excuses for all these messed up people. Why do you continuously have dangerous people around your home and or kids? I'm beginning to think you love the drama. You knew he had to turn himself in, yet you used him for moving services. The feds, always blaming them for you and your friend's behavioral problems. I hope your ex-husband doesn't use this against... You're upset that they kicked your door in. What did you think would happen? Social media posts, whatever else you were saying is more than enough in this situation. You are the company you keep. I don't get why you just can't do better for the sake of your kids. It's not hard to be a good parent and protect your kids. Just try it. I'm sober 5 years. I made sure I lost all of my old so-called friends. You may want to think about that. Think about your kids. I agree, Dragon. This is a shit show. Having things put out on YouTube or what people think should be the last thing on his mind right now, you're doing him a huge disservice by continuing to put info out. He needs to be worried about getting out, staying sober, maybe changing friends, since it sounds like that is part of the struggle. That is the part he struggles with the most in his recovery journey.
Because it's not a good relationship. Instead of listening to valid concerns with her latest video on Jason Forrester being arrested in front of her house, she turns off the comments. And she says she's not going to allow people to talk crap about her and her children for her mental health's sake. That it's not people talking crap on her children. It is literally people telling her to reflect on her actions because some of the decisions that she is making could have direct impact on her children. Jason, who is violating his parole, decides it would be a good idea to go on the run after the judge decides that he needs to go back to jail. And of course, as I said, he gets caught at Jessica Kent's house, where supposedly he is not at 98% of the time. But what a coincidence he gets busted there. You know, he's only there 2% of the time, but he just gets busted there. I want to fast forward back to the past and give some more background information on Jason, because he has an issue with running from the feds. I think it's important for people to understand why this is incredibly dangerous that he decides to go on the run this last time, despite him having a horrible experience and having his door kicked in with his own kid inside. Jason Forrester has had this happen in the past. He has spoken about having his door kicked in. He speaks about being raided and this traumatic situation where his daughter is in the house. She's supposed to be staying in the room, you know, so that she can stay safe. But the little girl decides to run out of the room, and she's a grown woman now, and she still speaks about the experience, I guess, being traumatic for her. She can still remember it. It's just a totally tragic situation. And so she runs out of the room, and the police point a gun at her.
They kicked the door in. They messed up my house, you know, and when I let him in the house, I was finally let him in the house, and she was supposed to be in the bedroom, and she came running through the doorway chasing her little pit bull puppy. And the officer like went to swing the gun toward her, so I just tackled him because I didn't want her. I'm like, it's my kid, it's my kid. And he's like, settle down, everybody settle down, and, you know, because I couldn't live with myself if anything happened with her like that, you know. And then, like I said, we were in court, and she was scared of me, and it was just so heartbreaking for me for that, you know. I mean,
I couldn't imagine if it was me and my baby was there and they're trying to kick down the door, and then the officer goes to put his gun on my daughter that's running down.
But you put your kids in that situation, you know. I can't say anything because I'm an idiot, you know. I've done stupid things. One of the main reasons why I'm single, and I'll probably be single forever, is because I have a really terrible choice in picking people. The last scumbag that I picked was literally the biggest piece of shit in the world, and nope. So I'll probably be single forever.
Down the hallway, like, I would lose it.
And just to be clear, there was no drugs in the house. There was nothing. There was a gun, a 22 caliber rifle. I'm in Arkansas, a 22 caliber rifle in a locked gun case. That was that the girls could have. So they didn't find nothing in my house. They were going off hearsay what other people said. Again.
So this has happened to you multiple times, where other people said, "Oh, he's selling dope." They kick in his door. They don't find anything, but still they took your daughter.
Yeah, they had arrested a girl for stealing a purse she stole a purse at the health club.
Same,
and
Nicole.
She got out of trouble. She was
we
like,
can die alone together.
This and that, and so they believed her and came. My daughter recently visited, and we sat on the couch, and I was talking to her, and I didn't think she remembered it. She remembered a lot of it. She remembered the people. She remembered, and we were talking about it, and it kind of hurt me that she remembered it still. You know, she's like, "People are nice, Dad. You know, I remember this and that." And the mom was kind of bossy.
So you can see why she remembers it as an adult. Jason also said that he is listed as a violent offender because the law sees him as a potential threat because of his history.
Damn.
So I think it is incredibly irresponsible for Jessica Kent to allow Jason to be around her.
I'm considered a violent felon because I've been arrested multiple times with firearms. I've done shootings. I've fought police. I've always done dumb shit. So I'm considered a violent felon. Why would you bring a gun to me, of all people?
Despite her completely knowing that he is on the run. She states it in her video that she knew he was on the run.
We need a judge to sign off on a search warrant to come in my house and search my house for him. And yes, I tried to get him to turn himself in and just get it over with because we don't want anyone else's door getting kicked in. Like, that is a really difficult thing.
And she can say all day that he was away from her 98% of the time. But even allowing him to be around 2% of the time around the place that your kids reside at, that is so incredibly irresponsible and dumb to do because, as she even stated in the video, even if he was not there, they were getting ready to kick her door in next.
Because there should have been 12. They had no intention of arresting him that day. They had every intention in the world to arrest him the next day by kicking in my door. He doesn't even live with me. He pops in and out. I know that some of you are probably judging because Jason was on my property when he got arrested. Any one of his friends could have had their door kicked in. Any one of us.
She can sit there all day long and blame that there is a lot of overuse of police force. And yeah, there is. But at the end of the day, Jason is listed as a violent offender and he does not comply with turning himself in. And I just don't know how anyone can justify that that is an okay risk to take when you have children around. She claims her children did not see the arrest and they were not around when he was arrested, and I really hope that is the case. But at the end of the day, her children have been through so much, and they've been around people, and then they watch them go. And I think Jessica Kent needs to reflect on this situation with Jason because, frankly, it is not good. It's just not good, and I don't know how anyone could justify and say that this is a good situation. And I have even seen her supporters call her out on this. So seeing that she has turned the comments off on her latest video, I don't think she is at the place where she is willing to reflect and think about the ramifications of her own choices. I don't even know, frankly, why she has that video up. As I said, I guess she thinks it's going to get her views by displaying this, like, dramatic situation that involves her children. She doesn't want to hear what people have to say about it, but she wants you to click on that video and watch what has been going on with her. Also to add in how irresponsible she is to have Jason around her and her kids.
Okay, well, listen, that was like a basic fucking rundown of this chick. There's a lot of drama going on with her, so I definitely probably will be, you know, covering that. I'll talk about the brown skin lady panel and everything that happened yesterday. I'll talk about that tomorrow morning. I'll do like a morning show and we'll go over that tomorrow. A show, by the way. I'll do a morning stream. I didn't mean to say show. I'll do a morning stream and we'll go over that tomorrow.
This is Lola Lee T. Hey everyone, how you guys doing? So Blueface posted on Twitter, Jaden has the fastest growing music career I've ever seen. 3 months and 3 songs later, geez. He also posted on Instagram that Jaden's song Post Op has 665K views in just one day. He showed some YouTubers reacting to the video. So my question is, how can Jade and Alexis have more views than Stunner Girl? And she is an actual real rapper, but yet Jaden has this many views. I don't get it. Things are not adding up. And how can this song have so many views? Notice
girl.
every time Blueface and Jaden go on live or post something, Jaden's songs are blasting in the background. Check this out for an example.
What is that? Nothing. Say it again. It's funny. What's funny? Blue cheese. What? Blue cheese. You think that's funny? Yes. You can taste me. You can taste me. This guy. What?
So all the views come from him streaming it? That makes no sense.
What you playing? Oh. Guess what? I stole my friend's car. You like your mom's new video and song? Yeah. Hey, we got one. Let's go.
And I think by now their children know the words to Post Op, Stewie, and the other song. What's the other song again? Because the songs seem to be on repeat in their house. And let's talk about money for a minute. Jaden's song is uploaded to Blueface YouTube channel, and he has over 1 million plus subscribers. So Jaden is in a similar situation that Krishan was in. Krishan had signed over her checks to Blueface, but then she got smart and took his name off.
Can we stop comparing these women? I think that's the problem. We keep pitting them against each other. Could we not?
Off her Zeus checks, and I am so proud of her for doing that. I always say, ladies, get your own bank accounts. You don't need to share your bank account with your man. Have your separate bank account. If he's going to buy you a car, make sure the car is in your name. If you're buying a house together, make sure both of your names is on that title. If he is not contributing to your house that you're living in, do not put that man's name on your house. Do not put him on the title. Do not put him on the deed. In Jaden's case, the money that's made off her songs are going from his YouTube channel, which has his name on it, straight into his bank account.
It doesn't matter because Blueface is always taking care of Jaden. So it doesn't matter. Like, he's always taking care of her for the past 10 years.
And what about the upcoming performances? Where is the money going? Jaden's bank account or his? And he seems to flash lots of cash. So maybe it doesn't go into any account at all. But he seems to really like being in control of women's money.
Yeah, I'm really riding around like this. Like, I'm really... Oh, cute. Too many bundles. Come on. Stop playing. I'm schoolyard. Really riding around like I'm out here telling the schoolyards did it though. I should have a ticket right there. Dead homies.
And I think soon enough, he'll be buying himself some more jewelry with Jaden's money this time.
Bands on bands.
But I'm sure he still has lots of Krishan's money. And he will be buying Jaden's gifts with Krishan and Jaden's money. And I don't think Jaden really cares. As long as she gets her BBLs and her other gifts, this girl don't care.
As long as she gets her BBL.
You got right there. That's that. How much you took out the account, okay?
I didn't count it, but it's 8 plus 7. I don't know.
Okay.
Let's see how the studio is doing. That was paid for by Krishan's money, allegedly.
No, she's not a gold digger because she's been with him since they was in high school. That's the one thing I'll say about Jaden. She's not a gold digger. She's been with Blue since they was in high school, since he was a Dusty. You know what I mean? Like, so they've always been together. how people are mad at Jaden. Like, Jaden's always been there. She made it clear, like, she'd rather be stupid. Like, she made it clear, like, that's her dude. She has 2 kids with him. She's not going nowhere. She made it clear. Like, I just don't understand how people could shit on that. Whatever, you want to say, oh, she dumb because he cheated on her. Well, no, they broke up and then they got back together. Why is she dumb? Because she wants to try to stay together for her family? Because she wants to be a family with the father of her 2 kids? I don't feel like she's dumb. I feel like Krishan is dumb. She's a homewrecker. She inserted herself into someone else's situation. But, And she said, like, I never knew that Krishan spoke like this, but there was basically like an interview. She was like, yeah, I was in the bed with Blue and Jaden came in and she seen my pussy and she was laughing and like making a joke. And like, she didn't have no remorse or regret or that she was like, breaking up a home. Because that's what she was doing.
And we have heard so much from Carlissa, but what about Blueface dad? What does he think about his son's business ventures?
That's his dad?
This was a very old clip of Blueface dad, which was sent to me. Check this out.
Solid Rolex chain weighing in 285 grams. Completely unique. You won't see this anywhere. And completely solid. Fully iced out pops for the one and only Blueface Pop. Hey, yeah.
Is his dad white?
Yeah, alright.
Alright.
Hey, look,
No, he's not white.
Pops my bust down. Oh shit. That's for you, man. Fuck them. Bapalini. Whoa, man, they got too much bread. All blues. Blueface, baby. Yeah, alright. You about to live with this shit. Blue bus.
So what are your thoughts about all of this?
You wanna know how we're really gonna make a man look? When we go to the Rams game, we're gonna take like
7 strippers.
7 strippers. And we're just gonna throw money on the strippers.
Look it.
We're not gonna watch the game. We just gonna have strippers going crazy.
Oh.
Man, that shit finna be our... We finna bleed. Mark my words. Watch this.
But before I go, you heard what Blueface...
Oh, God. He's just pulling stunts now. It's stupid. Like, for what? For what? I'm gonna go to the Rams game with strippers. Anyways, there was something else that I wanted to talk about before, but I forgot. I definitely forgot. I totally forgot. There was like another topic. Another subject. But, is it over her? Nah. Well, I'm gonna go. I've been live long enough anyway. So, yeah. Peace out, family. I hope y'all have a great day. I won't be back later, most likely. Because, yeah, I won't be. I'll see y'all tomorrow.